You just bought a rental and you need to buy insurance. Do you have any clue what you're supposed to buy? Well, my name's Danny Nicolino and I run Round Town Go. And the goal of that company is to grow and scale your real estate company.
And I'm Kyle Novak. I'm the other owner of Round Town Go, and we are here with Alan Mickley, my insurance guy. Alan, you want to introduce yourself?
Yes, I'm Alan Mickley with the Insurance Center of Louisville. We are located in downtown Louisville. I've been doing this for roughly 13 years now, going on 13, and here with Kyle and Danny, as they said, and we'll answer a couple questions and get everybody feeling good about insurance.
So, as I said in the beginning, it's very difficult, especially when you're starting out, to know what type of insurance you should buy or even what that means when you buy a policy. There's multiple pages of exclusions and complicated insurance language that's very difficult to parse through and understand. So, it's very important to have a really, really good insurance contact that they can help you understand it and help you decide what the right policy is for that specific property. So I'm going to pass it over to Kyle to kind of explain some examples of different things that he's worked with Alan on that has helped him in the past.
Yeah, Alan's taught me a bunch about insurance just from buying and selling properties, keeping rentals, and there's definitely a difference between insurance for a rental property, for a flip property, depending on the area, if you're going to keep it long term or short term. And there's a ton of nuance and detail to that insurance policy that Alan has taught me over the years. And Alan, do you mostly work with investors or do you do mostly retail clients
No,
as well?
basically, we have a big book of business that includes not just the investors like yourselves and a lot of the folks with the Round Town Go group, but we also do your basic home and auto and also some light commercial insurance as well.
Cool. Yeah, I mean, for instance, there have been situations where, I may have had the wrong insurance for that property, but Alan stepped in, fixed it, made it right, and everyone moved on about their day. And he explained to me why it was wrong. So that's the big difference is, Alan knows that nuance, and if there's mistakes made, he's always made it right. And I think that's the difference between your standard insurance agent.
So I'll give you an example of that. I'm currently doing a portfolio refi right now, and I went to talk to Alan about insurance. My current insurance was a basic type coverage, and we're switching to a more broad type coverage, and there's not much cost difference. It is a different carrier, but I had no clue what the difference was between those two. So would you just kind of touch on that, for example?
Yeah, for a brief second, what Danny was alluding to is when I looked at what company he was getting the quotes and his current agent and company, there was two different forms of coverages. So not to get too involved into this because it does take a little bit longer than what we have. So that's a one-on-one need basis. But there is just basic fire protection. And then there's a form that's a little bit better in coverage as far as for a certain type of claim, whether it be a roof, whether it be a chimney falling down, et cetera. That's a little bit better form of coverage than what was previously quoted for Danny's book of business. So Danny contacted me. Pretty much got everything done in a quick turnaround, which he was thankful for. Wasn't getting some responses back as quick as he wanted from other sources. So I was able to, and especially with Danny and Kyle being involved here and I being involved with the Round Town groups, I always make sure that every client gets taken care of in a prompt manner, the best that I can within my abilities. Contacted Danny back, gave him some figures. We went through it, and that's the discussion that we had on what form of coverage Danny was buying versus what I was able to quote, and that's where we came to that agreement.
Uh,
I think another benefit to Alan is just you are also an investor yourself.
I
So
am.
you understand both sides of the business. You know what to look for, and you kind of know. I think that's huge. Whether it's a realtor, an insurance agent, your CPA, like it definitely helps having any of those professionals also investors because they just understand both sides.
Yes, go ahead, Danny.
I was just going to say, you mentioned realtor, CPA, insurance agent. So just remember, those are all, we've talked about this before in other videos, those are all part of your power team. And you need to, and like you said, it's very important that they are responsive, quickly to respond, because if you have a question or you're about to buy a property, you need to be able to ask all those individuals these types of questions, because they're going to help you make your decision. They're like your little advisory panel, right? So you have to build relationships with these folks. They're not just going to obviously answer every question for free and take a ton of time. But at the same time, if you work with someone local like Alan, who is very open to building relationships and is quick to respond and will help you out, that's much more helpful than someone who's a big name or something like that who may not have the time for you.
Yeah, and a lot of times as well, I mean, I learned at a very young age with my father, as you guys know, being in the real estate business, I learned at a young age, what customer service was about, watching my father grow his business. And, bringing that into my insurance business, is leaps and bounds. So taking what you've learned all them years as a child, bringing it into your business and watch your business grow the way it has. And I think that votes well. As long as you treat somebody like you want to be treated in the business world, you're always going to have a good business because of that. Another side note, with me being an independent agent, I write for multiple carriers. Being a captive agent, sort of like State Farm or an Allstate, so where you only have one product to offer you as clients, to be able to only have that, you're constricted as to what you're able to give to that particular client. And I would not want to see a client walk out my door and not be able to at least offer them something and let them make the decision at that point. So being an independent agent, you have multiple carriers that you're able to write business for. And I think that is a huge benefit to myself and the agency as well, and clients like yourselves.
And just one more thing I'll talk about. So for those of you that maybe haven't bought insurance before, or this is new to you, and maybe insurance just scares you, Alan, what's the process of, if something does happen to my property, what do I do? Do I call you? Are you going to leave me high and dry, or will you explain it to me? Or what happens then? What happens if something bad happens?
Well, first and foremost, I'm your agent. So you want to contact your agent. Okay, they're there for you in your best interest, period. There's no ifs, ands, or buts about it. Now, every agent's different in how they handle situations, but if something happened with one of your guys' properties and you needed service right away, you call me. I have all the contacts to make the right phone calls. I will ask you exactly what happened, and then let's see, what coverages you have. What's your deductible? Is it less than your deductible? Is it a little bit over your deductible? There's certain things that, during a claim time that you should always contact your agent to discuss before setting up a claim right away, because not knowing the circumstances, you may be able to be afforded a claim, or with your deductible, it may be less than that and you won't have a claim presented because your deductible is higher than what the damage actually was.
Yeah, I've made multiple claims with you now, a few over the years, and you basically advise on what to do first, right? So I always take photos of the damage, talk about what happened, you look at the policy, see what kind of coverage is on there, and then we talk about what makes sense.
Correct.
But yeah, definitely you don't want to just run into making a claim, unadvised.
Right,
So,
because there could be some dissatisfaction, and that's not what you want for your customer.
yeah.
So, and it's always up for determination from the claims adjuster. It's never up to myself
Right.
to ever say that this claim is going to be covered or not, because I will not advise that to any client.
Right.
Right.
Yeah.
That is a perfect example of why it's very important for your insurance agent to be responsive and knowledgeable, which is honestly, unfortunately, quite rare these days, especially with the responsive piece of it. So, yeah, that's the nuts and bolts of insurance. Obviously, there's a lot more nuance that we could go into. We could be here for an hour, but that's why you have an insurance expert.
Where and how do you want people to contact you?
Yes. So basically, you can contact me at my office. We are in downtown Louisville, 231 East Main Street, Louisville, Ohio, 44641. My office number, 330-875-5578.
And if you're watching this video for the first time, Just so you know, Roundtown Go is a company that helps other investors grow and scale their real estate business. You can find us at www.roundtowngo.com. Thank you.